I've been doing some of my overthinking. I get that trait from my mom. Let's just cut right into the level. I'm going to say some very controversial things in love and understanding and not in hate. These are just my views. I woke up this morning thinking about the movie more so. This is going to have a couple of spoilers in it, right? To get to the logic that I'm trying to make here. And the movie, as I think about it, did make me feel some type of way. One thing that I have recognized and what the movie really solidified for me is that I am more spiritual than anything else. And if I would write a book about race, it would be like, I don't talk about race, but I don't care if you do. That kind of thing, because I know that this body is but a vessel. So I'm not going to take up the hardships that come with my body, whether it be my skin color or an illness or a sickness, mental or physical. How people identify with certain things, such as depression or racial profiling. All of that to me is on a carnal, physical level. That is not the spiritual level of man. And it's a heavy thing for me to say and for me to acknowledge, because a lot of people will think that I'm weird when I say I do not care about the physical and carnal nature of man. It does not excite me. If you sat up here and tried to give me a history lesson about your belief in politics or what it means to be black, you would probably put me to sleep. But if you tell me anything about your spiritual beliefs, I'll be listening to you all day, even if they're the opposite of mine, because that is what I gravitate towards. So with that in mind, I'll say this. I made my little review, fresh off, not thinking about it. And then I went and watched some other people's reviews, and they were like crying and feeling all emotional and things like that. And I will say, even when I was sitting in the movie for me is more African than African American. The person in the movie that represents African Americans is actually the villain. I think that's why I liked him the most. And the deepest thing that has me thinking about it is that he had a choice to live or die, and he wanted to die like the ancestors who jumped into the waters from the ships. And I think for the crowd that I was in and the neighborhood that was in, that's why it was so quiet. Because if you are even any kind of intellectual, it makes you think about the people, not the people, our people, black people that are left behind. We are the people that did not fight to the death. We are the descendants of people who chose to survive. Now, we are the best of our kind, allegedly. We were like taken as the strongest and the warriors and the most fertile, right? But we became cultivated. One of the slurs that they use in the movie, which I love, they call the Caucasian man the colonizer. You know what I mean? And even that hit me. I was like, "Ooh, that's a good one, colonizer." You know, and it puts a different thought in my mind about what history means to a lot of people. Now, I love my mom because in her 30s, she really gravitated towards African friends and really got into African culture, and she loves African culture. She really does. So I think that my parents did a great job of providing that balance, but I really do identify myself as more American than anything else. And even that's controversial and painful for me to say. I'm not whitewashed by any means. I'm not asleep by any means. I am fully woke. I am fully woke and aware. But the nature of the place that I am in has made me something different. You know what I mean? The villain in the movie was from that place, but he became something different. Now, he became more angry and he wanted to do things differently. I think that I have become more loving. Like my natural tendency is to be angry, but it has made me more loving and more compassionate and more likely to go towards the spiritual and say, what is this thing all about? Because when you talk about certain things like what it means to be black and how white people view it and how black people view it, it's all this negativity. I kind of feel bad that I didn't have. I have like a couple of white friends that I kind of could have taken to the movie, but like my close white friends would not have felt comfortable going to the movie. They wouldn't have felt comfortable by the name. They wouldn't have felt comfortable by some of the things that were said. They would say that it is propagandic hate and things like that. And I see their view, but it's all cardinality. We are more than the package that we come in, and there is truth on both sides of the equation, and there's a lot of painful truths. I think if for people who are really connected to like African culture, they will love it, or people who have no sense of African culture, they need to see it, because a lot of the things that make people emotional was the fact that Africa was a place that had technology into it, and that blew my mind because I already know that, I already feel that, and I feel like, nothing is going to be destroyed or considered a shithole if that's what it really is. Like, I'm not going to put you down if you don't have something that's really up. You know what I mean? I'm already woke. Don't do me. You know what I mean? I'm woke. However, I am still something different. Like how they say you mutate, you adapt. We're talking about, I don't know how many years now have we been African Americans in this kind of society, and what have we done to survive, and what does that say about us? The fact that we want to survive in a certain kind of way, and the villain at the end, just the fact that he said, I'd rather go over the ship, into the waters, that to me was like, whoa. So all of these people that do get so angry about it, you got to think about it. You came from survivors. You know what I mean? You came from people that may have sacrificed a lot of things just to stay